8 years from now, we want to save 1,000 crores of yearly medicine bill for the people. That's the only mission vision that we have.
Hello and welcome to the ninth episode of 8. My name is Sanjay Chakrabarti. I'm the founder of Tag8. Today's guest is someone who worked together almost 20 years back, and he doesn't know about it, but at that point of time, he was not really very popular in the organization. And the reason for that was that he was a CA gold medalist. So rest of us working in a accounting environment were really not happy to have someone as brilliant as him in our midst, given the type of marks that we ended up with in our educational forum. He has now, fast forwarding the entire thing, built up a great business called Dawa Dost. It's a chain of pharmacy. You'll hear more from him. Amit Chaudhary, owner of Dawa Dost, I'm absolutely privileged to have you on my show. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Sanjay. Pleasure being speaking to you formally on this channel. I think going back 20 years, I'm sure I had enough popularity then that I know of. So I think your first comment. But jokes apart, yeah, it was a privilege to, I came from Calcutta, so a privilege to work with Arthur Andersen. I was the infamous last batch to join Arthur Andersen before they decided to merge with E&Y and move forward. So it's always very special in my professional journey that I got lucky to start off there.
I think that's a common thing you will hear from everyone who's gone through the Arthur Andersen grind.
Yep, I fully with you.
So Amit, let me jump to the format of the show and the first question, which is your one breath question. Who is Amit Chaudhary?
Okay, so Amit is a chartered accountant. 20 years back we started. A very simple person, comes from a Calcutta Marwadi background. Worked my way in different companies and loves to kind of explore different things at different points of time. So I had a professional career over 18 years in diverse experiences on that side. And a couple of years back, we started Dawa Dost. As a family, I have a couple of kids. My daughter, she's in grade 12, my son in grade 6. I have a lovely wife who's been very patient with me, trying to make all these funny adjustments in life.
That sounds wonderful. Let me get to the second question. Tell us something about Dawa Dost.
So Dawa Dost is our effort to drive affordability on the healthcare side in India. One of the largest problems, Sanjay, in healthcare is that most of the medicines are unaffordable. So it's a kind of paradox in an Indian context because India is typically counted as the cheapest or the generic capital of the world. We supply 15-20% of global medicines, but across the breadth of India, you see a lot of disconnect, and there is a lot of availability of medicine is not a challenge. It's just the reach to the last common man is a big challenge. So our whole approach is, how do I shave off between 50 to 80% of everyone's medical bill? That's a simple motto that we work off in an Indian context.
Oh, that really sounds outstanding, and more importantly, the much needed requirement, especially the current environment that we are working in.
Yep. So I'll give you some simple examples, Sanjay. We started off with COVID issues in March, April of this year. And, we were actually the only one, which had availability of all possible kind of medicines. So we were the first one to bring FabiFlu to the common people. For example, when masks and sanitizers in last week of March was being black marketed across India, we were selling it at discount prices to our customers, etc. And for our, we are predominantly a Jaipur-based, operation. And for our, customers, people, older care people, we actually took the effort of actually delivering their medicines for a few months at their home when the lockdown happened. So ours is a holistic approach saying, okay, we really love our customers. They are the reason we exist. And we want to give them a sustainable pathway where they can save money throughout their life without being worried about saying, how do I find money to pay for my next medical bills? So I think that's been our journey. It's been very, very enriching from an experience standpoint. We're very young, only a couple of years old as a company. But, the impact that we can make, we touch base around 50,000 customers a month today. And the impact that we can make on each one of them and their families is very, very rewarding.
That sounds really great. And I know the journey that you've been so far and the growth that you guys have achieved. I'm sure that would be very soon. Let me get to the third question. Amit, it's been 2 years, around almost 2.5 years that you started Dawa Dost. What's most intriguing is that you've been really in the metro cities and worked abroad for a while, coming back in, always in the so-called multinational environment. For someone like you, what have been the learnings of setting up a business in a tier two city? Or, how has that been a journey for you?
So, Sanjay, I think there are two parts of the answer. First is the journey from an MNC to, say, a self-funded, self-run company. And I look at it from a CXO level to a C2C level, right? So, and a CXO, in an MNC CXO level, you have all the things that you wish for. You have a large team. Most of the things are taken care of. You're basically just deciding the way forward. In a startup, you are doing a C2C role, which is a chaparasi se CEO tak ka role. Everything is yours, right? So when we first started our business, I remember, in the winter of 19, early 20, January of 19, etc. I used to actually put these stickers on the strip myself. I had taken the effort to, when we put up the boxes in my store, and they are the most cherishable memories that I have, right? So saying everything you have to do, right? There is no like fallback. You have teams, and once you set up the example, things become very,
Right.
very straightforward and easy. So I think that's one part, that transition from a CXO level work to running your own company. I think the second part to the answer, which is saying what have we learned in the entire piece. I think so. There is no dull moment, right? You are an entrepreneur yourself. You've taken the call little bit before I did, and it's a very enriching thought because you building things. Everyone in your team, like I have 100 people team working for me now, and everyone looks at you for a solution, right? So you can't have a deference or a CY kind of an answer, right? So you're saying, okay, you have to give them a direct direction. You have to decide at that moment and move forward. And one of the principles we worked with, Sanjay, is one is greater than zero. So that's something that we etched in our head on day one and said, okay, doing something is better than doing nothing, right? So that's a principle at which we build Zavados, saying, okay, we'll make mistakes, and there are like shitloads of mistakes that we've done over, like very, very hilarious mistakes that we've done over the last 24 months. But we are very cagey about not repeating them. So I think that's the only piece that we keep taking pride in, saying we love making mistakes.
Right.
We just are anally focused, saying I'll not repeat them. Saying that's
right. Tell me, Amit, because that is very common. I've seen that across, and I see that in our organization as well. So making mistakes happening all around. How do you? Is there a process that you've set up to ensure that we don't make the same mistakes again?
Yeah. So, Sanjay, couple of things. One, encouraging everyone in the company, right, to kind of use their head and not just their hands and legs, is an enabler. And that I think every founder, every CEO needs to proactively focus on, right? And, the way we do it is just asking, okay, what would you do? It's very easy, again, coming from an MNC background, working in an organized setup, etc., that you jump to a conclusion and say, okay, I think this is right and let's do it. And you just cut the conversation, say, okay, I've already decided what do I want to do next. Versus flipping it and asking, okay, what aapko sahi lagta hai kya? What do you think is right for, in this context? But my learning personally is that person is closest to business. He or she also knows what's right for her and what's the easiest way of doing her. She might not articulate it very well, and that's where we can kind of step in and do. But so I think that's been something that's helped us dramatically. In terms of the other piece which you asked, saying how do we build a culture around making mistakes and not repeating them. I think giving people the freedom to make mistakes and not kind of picking up people. So again, as a human tendency, we would say, hey, he's a stupid guy. He's made a stupid mistake, right? And we keep saying, okay, the stupidest mistakes are probably the best learnings, right? And we've actually encouraged people to come out and not feel in awe of saying, "Acha, agar main 10 log ke samne, if I say something, Amit will pick me up and say, "Arey, what stupid idea are you talking about?" and stuff. So I think again that is something that we've worked on very, very aggressively, and people then are very smart, Sanjay. Saying, they don't, repeating mistakes. If you tell them, okay, it's right, and you hard coded saying, okay, you made a mistake, this is what you've learned. and how do you avoid the pitfall again. We've thankfully not had too much experiences of people doing the same errors again and again over a period of time.
Great, and I think effectively even the empowerment and giving them that sense that they are taking that decision makes them also more careful while doing the work the second time around.
Absolutely. And see, with some of these things we've learned from likes of say DMart, etc. So DMart is an unbelievably smart company in terms of how does it enable its last mile people, right? So if you go to, I'll give you a simple example. And if you shopped at DMart versus say a Big Bazaar, right? The person standing at the door at a DMart will always check your bill with a lot more intent, and he'll check what you're carrying in the bag with a lot more intent than at a delivery counter, say at a Big Bazaar. Both of them are just like security guards having a very menial work in some sense, right? They just have to. No one is happy about them checking, etc. Right. It's just that they've been empowered. In DMart environment, the person checking actually gets an incentive to reduce pilferage. In a Big Bazaar environment, they don't get any incentive to check pilferage. So the intent actually comes from how the backend is being designed. That way.
Right. No, that's some great insight. I never picked that up really. I haven't really been to DMart that often, but I'll check it the next time around. So let me get to the next question, Amit. Tell us about any habit of yours that has really helped you in your business.
So one of the habits, Sanjay, so starting off afresh, it's a very lonely journey. Again, you don't have a friend circle, peer circle to talk to, gossip during the day. Your coffee conversations tend to be about work versus, so you don't have a thing. So two things that's helped me personally. One, having a very strong daily ritual of going for long walks. So pre my COVID situation, personally, I used to walk for like 10,000 steps, climb up 20 floors every single day. And that 1.5 hour window was my personal time to think, reflect, like no phone calls, nothing, right? You just with yourself, reflecting on what's happened, and you're doing it early in the morning. So it's great to just think through the business pieces. The other piece that's helped is to have a very strong network of mentors where you can lay your guard down. So you're not posturing in front of them, not questioning, saying, like they're not investors, right? So you don't need to posture or, say, but ask for genuine advice, because that's what I would do in a normal, if I was working back, I would like go back to my set of mentors there and do. And that's been super helpful because these are like super smart guys in their respective areas of work. And they are not biased with what you are doing on a day-to-day basis. So some of the things that we built is come purely from, some of these insightful conversation that you have, like, meet them once a week, get to a coffee conversations for and then have a topic of conversation, saying, okay, I just want to talk this, and have an unfiltered conversation. You might get beaten up, that's okay. But, it's great to kind of use that session to build up your business.
Right. No, that's an excellent point. So Amit, coming to our final question, where do you see Dava Dost in 8 months from now? And where do you see Dava Dost 8 years from now?
So Dava Dost, 8 months from now, we want to help save 10 crores of medicine bill. That's our next milestone. We've currently delivered around 5 crores of saving to customers from the time we've started. So our next milestone is to cross like 10 crores as a number. We will in 8 years from now, we want to save 1,000 crores of yearly medicine bill for the people. That's the only mission vision that we have. It would mean a lot of different things in the backend in terms of how many stores, how many customers. Nothing matters. The bigger number is that there's only one objective, saying 10 crores, 1,000 crores. 1,000 crores of savings to people is like an unbelievable impact on the society at large.
That sounds outstanding. I must say that, in books, you typically read that keep the customer in the center of your entire business and you will do well. I'm just amazed that most of the points that you've talked about, how customer-centric you are, and especially given the potential social impact that this entire journey of yours could have, I really, really hope and wish that you do phenomenally well and get to that 1,000 crore number way before 8 years. Thanks so much for joining, Amit. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you so much, Sanjay. Pleasure speaking to you.